The smartest zodiac signs. There are zodiac signs whose intelligence goes beyond the ordinary. They don't just think. They see ahead, analyze where others get lost, and read the world like an open book. Their intellect is not like that of humans. It is something deeper, intuitive, almost prophetic. They predict events through logic that borders on clairvoyance. They cannot be fooled because they sense the weak spot of every interlocutor, every situation, every trap of fate. Today, I will reveal which zodiac signs nature has blessed with exceptional intelligence, the kind that gives them the power to see the truth without words, act without mistakes, and make decisions that change everything. These people are not just smart. They are strategists, prophets, and thinkers of the future. Their intellect is a weapon with which they control reality. Look closely. Perhaps your sign belongs to the elite of the mind. Subscribe so you don't miss out on the secrets that will help you use your own power, as only the wisest do. The second sign is Capricorn. Capricorn's intellect does not shine outwardly. It acts quietly, systematically, without any pathos. His mind is an instrument of precision, designed to break down complex phenomena into details, find logic even in chaos, and build structures where others see only disorder. It thinks not in flashes, but in deep analytical waves. Its brain works like a mechanism in which there is no room for chance. Each thought follows from the previous one. Each conclusion has proof. Capricorn is an intellect that does not depend on inspiration. They can work with cold precision, even when there are no emotions at all. Their thinking is based on logic, self-discipline, and a deep understanding of the laws of cause and effect. They do not believe in easy solutions, so they break everything down into stages, research, and verify. Their mind resembles that of an architect who builds a perfect structure, strong, without cracks, where every detail is subordinate to the main goal. Their intellect is not emotional, but rational. Capricorns always ask, why? What is the result? What is the strategy? He does not talk much because he understands that truth does not need noise. His silence is not indifference, but the work of thought, which digests facts and forms decisions. When he finally speaks, every word carries weight. People often agree with him, even if they do not want to, because they feel the internal logic of his position. Capricorn is a strategic thinker. He does not see today, but always several steps ahead. His brain works in the long term. He understands how a small decision now will have big consequences later. That is why he is rarely wrong. His intellect is built on patience. When others act quickly, Capricorn waits. When others stop, he moves on. His mind does not react. It plans. It is not just an understanding of the situation, it is a strategic ability to manage it. Capricorn does not think chaotically. He is always structured. His thoughts are orderly and his conclusions are well-founded. At work, he never relies on chance because he knows that intelligence is not a talent, but the result of discipline. He can solve a difficult problem not because he has a brilliant idea, but because his logic is crystal clear. His strength lies in consistency. Where others get tired, he only begins to think more deeply. His mind demands proof. Capricorns will not take anything on faith, even if it sounds convincing. He always checks the facts, looks for the root cause, and reveals the hidden logic. This is what makes him indispensable in any analytical field. He understands finance, law, psychology, power structures, anything that has a system. His brain is designed for order. If you give him chaos, He will find an algorithm in it. If you give him a problem without a solution, he will create his own. His intellect does not depend on his emotional state. Even under stress, Capricorn thinks coldly. He does not succumb to panic because he knows that clarity of thought is a form of power. Where others are lost, he takes control of the situation. This is not just strength of character, it is the result of deep mental discipline that he has built up over the years. Capricorn does not seek approval. He does not need applause to feel his own intelligence. His self-respect is based on achievements, on evidence that his decisions work. His intellect is not superficial, but practical. He values knowledge not for its own sake, but for the sake of results. It is important for him not just to know, but to apply. He does not waste his mind on trifles. His thinking is economical, precise, and constructive. His logic has a special quality. It not only explains, but also stabilizes. People around him feel calm because Capricorn thinks firmly. He does not throw out hypotheses at random, does not exaggerate emotions, does not seek effect. His thoughts are always focused on the essence. That is why he becomes a mentor, a leader, a support. His intellect is not flashy, but impeccably accurate. It is a mind that does not show off, but controls reality. His strength lies in his observation skills. Capricorn notices details that others miss. From a single phrase, he can draw conclusions about a person, and from a single movement, about their intentions. His analysis is deeper than it seems. He does not reveal his thoughts immediately because he understands that intellect is not something to be flaunted, but something to be used. He thinks like a chess player, several moves ahead, without emotion, but with precision. In arguments, Capricorn always has the last word, even if he remains silent. His arguments are based on facts, logic, and unwavering consistency. You cannot defeat him with emotions or pressure. He does not respond to provocations because he knows that control over one's thought is the highest level of power. His intellect keeps his life in balance. Capricorn is a mind that does not adapt to the world, but forces the world to adapt to itself. He does not seek brilliance because his goal is results. His thinking is the foundation on which empires can be built. And that is why, among all the signs, his mind is called the most resilient. He is not just smart, he is unbreakable. The second sign is Capricorn. Capricorn's intellect does not shine outwardly. It acts quietly, systematically, without any pathos. His mind is an instrument of precision, designed to break down complex phenomena into details, find logic even in chaos, and build structures where others see only disorder. It thinks not in flashes, but in deep analytical waves. Its brain works like a mechanism in which there is no room for chance. Each thought follows from the previous one. Each conclusion has proof. Capricorn is an intellect that does not depend on inspiration. They can work with cold precision, even when there are no emotions at all. Their thinking is based on logic, self-discipline, and a deep understanding of the laws of cause and effect. They do not believe in easy solutions, so they break everything down into stages, research, and verify. Their mind resembles that of an architect who builds a perfect structure, strong, without cracks, where every detail is subordinate to the main goal. Their intellect is not emotional, but rational. Capricorns always ask, why? What is the result? What is the strategy? He does not talk much because he understands that truth does not need noise. His silence is not indifference, but the work of thought. which digests facts and forms decisions. When he finally speaks, every word carries weight. People often agree with him, even if they do not want to, because they feel the internal logic of his position. Capricorn is a strategic thinker. He does not see today, but always several steps ahead. His brain works in the long term. He understands how a small decision now will have big consequences later. That is why he is rarely wrong. His intellect is built on patience. When others act quickly, Capricorn waits. When others stop, he moves on. His mind does not react, it plans. It is not just an understanding of the situation, it is a strategic ability to manage it. Capricorn does not think chaotically, he is always structured. His thoughts are orderly and his conclusions are well-founded. At work, he never relies on chance because he knows that intelligence is not a talent, but the result of discipline. He can solve a difficult problem not because he has a brilliant idea, but because his logic is crystal clear. His strength lies in consistency. Where others get tired, he only begins to think more deeply. His mind demands proof. Capricorns will not take anything on faith, even if it sounds convincing. He always checks the facts, looks for the root cause, and reveals the hidden logic. This is what makes him indispensable in any analytical field. He understands finance, law, psychology, power structures, anything that has a system. His brain is designed for order. If you give him chaos, he will find an algorithm in it. If you give him a problem without a solution, he will create his own. His intellect does not depend on his emotional state. Even under stress, Capricorn thinks coldly. He does not succumb to panic because he knows that clarity of thought is a form of power. Where others are lost, he takes control of the situation. This is not just strength of character, it is the result of deep mental discipline that he has built up over the years. Capricorn does not seek approval. He does not need applause to feel his own intelligence. His self-respect is based on achievements, on evidence that his decisions work. His intellect is not superficial, but practical. He values knowledge not for its own sake, but for the sake of results. It is important for him not just to know, but to apply. He does not waste his mind on trifles. His thinking is economical, precise, and constructive. His logic has a special quality. It not only explains, but also stabilizes. People around him feel calm because Capricorn thinks firmly. He does not throw out hypotheses at random, does not exaggerate emotions, does not seek effect. His thoughts are always focused on the essence. That is why he becomes a mentor, a leader, a support. His intellect is not flashy, but impeccably accurate. It is a mind that does not show off, but controls reality. His strength lies in his observation skills. Capricorn notices details that others miss. From a single phrase, he can draw conclusions about a person, and from a single movement, about their intentions. His analysis is deeper than it seems. He does not reveal his thoughts immediately because he understands that intellect is not something to be flaunted, but something to be used. He thinks like a chess player, several moves ahead, without emotion, but with precision. In arguments, Capricorn always has the last word, even if he remains silent. His arguments are based on facts, logic, and unwavering consistency. You cannot defeat him with emotions or pressure. He does not respond to provocations because he knows that control over one's thought is the highest level of power. His intellect keeps his life in balance. Capricorn is a mind that does not adapt to the world, but forces the world to adapt to itself. He does not seek brilliance because his goal is results. His thinking is the foundation on which empires can be built. And that is why, among all the signs, his mind is called the most resilient. He is not just smart, he is unbreakable. The third sign is Sagittarius. The mind of Sagittarius is a combination of lightning and philosophy. Its intellect never sleeps, never stops, never conforms to boundaries. It is the mind of a traveler who seeks meaning in every phenomenon, strives to understand the patterns of the world, and at the same time is able to see the big picture where others are bogged down in details. He thinks big, but never gets lost in the chaos of ideas. Sagittarius is someone who is capable of thinking simultaneously as a scientist, a strategist, and a philosopher, without losing sight of the specifics. His intellect is born of curiosity. Sagittarius does not stop at the surface. He asks questions, gets to the heart of the matter, and analyzes. It is not enough for him to know how. He strives to understand why. This is the thinking of a researcher who views the world as an endless laboratory of ideas. He has quick reactions and even quicker logical thinking. Sagittarius grasps the essence instantly, sometimes even ahead of his own words. His mind is always in motion, and when it stops, it means he is already forming the next thought. His analytics are not dry but lively. Sagittarius is able to see structure in emotions, logic in chaos, and patterns in randomness. Their brain works flexibly, easily moving from the abstract to the practical, from an idea to a concrete plan. Sagittarians do not think in a formulaic way. They are always looking for a new approach, new logic, a new way of understanding. They are not afraid to make mistakes, because for them, a mistake is not the end, but further proof that the truth is somewhere nearby. Sagittarius has extremely developed strategic thinking. He is not limited to one solution. He always has several options in advance. His mind works like a chessboard, where every move has a continuation. And importantly, he does not lose his optimism even in the most difficult calculations. This is the type of intellect that sees a way out even when there is none. They create it themselves, combining knowledge, intuition, and experience. Their intellect is closely linked to communication. Sagittarians speak convincingly because their thoughts are clear, their arguments are logical, and their delivery is energetic. He is able to explain complex things simply, without unnecessary pathos, but with such force of conviction that listeners begin to think in his words. His mind has a special charisma. It captivates not only with its content, but also with the very process of thinking. People sense confidence and scale in him. Sagittarius does not tolerate restrictions. His brain protests against templates, dogmas, and authorities. He thinks independently, often contrary to conventional ideas. He is not afraid of complex topics. On the contrary, he is drawn to them to prove to himself that he can understand more. Their intellect always moves forward, even when their body stops. And that is why they are often ahead of their time. Their thoughts shape the future while others are still arguing about the past. Their logic has a special feature. It is combined with philosophical depth. Sagittarius does not simply analyze facts, but is able to see the patterns of life in them. He does not seek profit, he seeks meaning. And when that meaning is found, his decisions become ingeniously accurate. In science, business, art, or people management, wherever intelligence with vision is needed, Sagittarius stands out. His mind is not just a tool, it is an internal navigation system that leads to the truth. His analytical ability is amazingly combined with imagination. Sagittarius sees not only what is, but also what could be. His intellect creates models of the future in which he tests possibilities. They are not afraid to think big, because they understand that to reach the top, you have to think like someone who is already there. Their mental energy is like an engine. It drives everything they touch. Sagittarius thinks honestly. His intellect does not serve manipulation. He seeks the truth, even if it is unpleasant. His thoughts are as straight as an arrow hitting the target. He does not hide facts, distort logic, or fear to admit the obvious. And it is this honesty that makes his mind powerful. He does not waste energy on illusions. His strength lies in synthesis. Sagittarius is able to combine opposing ideas, creating harmony between logic and faith, analysis and inspiration. This is what makes him unique. He understands that intelligence is not only calculation, but also flexibility of thinking. He knows how to change his perspective, adapt to the situation, and find a new path where everyone else sees a dead end. And although Sagittarius does not strive to appear the smartest, he often becomes just that. His thoughts are ideas that outlive conversations. His intellect is the energy that drives progress. And while others are still looking for answers, Sagittarius is already formulating new questions, because for him, intelligence is not a trophy, but a path he follows throughout his life. The fourth sign is Virgo. Virgo's mind is precision in its highest form. Her intellect works like a flawless mechanism in which every thought is subject to logic, every word has weight, and every decision goes through several internal checks before seeing the light of day. Her thinking does not tolerate ambiguity. She does not accept anything approximate, because for her, truth is always concrete. Virgo thinks coldly, deliberately, and consistently, like an analytical system that improves itself. Virgo's mind is precision in its highest form. Her intellect works like a flawless mechanism in which every thought is subject to logic, every word carries weight, and every decision goes through several internal checks before seeing the light of day. Her thinking does not tolerate ambiguity. She does not accept anything approximate, because for her, truth is always concrete. Virgo thinks coldly, calmly, and consistently, like an analytical system that improves itself. Her intellect is built on a deep attention to detail. She sees what others do not notice, and notices not only the obvious, but also the subtext. For her, any little thing can be the key to understanding the whole situation. This makes her an ideal analyst, editor, researcher, doctor, or anyone who deals with precision. Her mind never tires of details, because that is where she sees structure. When others get lost in the minutiae, Virgo feels at home. Her thinking is logical to the core. She does not allow emotions to influence her decisions. When everyone else is reacting, Virgo is analyzing. When everyone else is arguing, she already sees the flaws in everyone's arguments. Her intellect works silently, quietly but flawlessly. She knows how to build cause and effect chains, to see systems where others see coincidences. Her thoughts are formulas, but not cold ones, rather lively ones. Each of them has practical meaning. Virgo thinks rationally but not narrowly. She is able to see logic even in the chaos of human emotions. That is why she often understands others better than they understand themselves. She knows how to analyze behavior, motives, habits, and reactions. Her observant nature is not just a character trait, but a way of thinking. Virgo does not miss a single signal, and therefore her judgments are almost always accurate. Her intellect does not need loud demonstrations. She does not compete with her mind or impose her opinion. She just knows. Her knowledge is deep, systematic, and always verified. She does not operate on assumptions, only facts. And when she expresses her position, she does so confidently, because her every word is based on logic. Her intellect cannot be refuted because it is based on evidence, not emotions. Virgo is a master of structure. She is capable of organizing anything: information, space, processes, thoughts. Her mind works in a system where everything has its place. That is why she rarely gets confused. She finds structure even in chaos. This is not just a skill. It is her way of thinking. Her brain automatically looks for patterns, turning the complex into the understandable. Her analytical ability is so developed that sometimes it seems as if she can see into the future. But in reality, it is the result of precise calculation. Virgo knows how to calculate consequences without even realizing it. Her intellect is not impulsive, it is cautious and thoughtful. She thinks several steps ahead, anticipating not only the results, but also the risks. She rarely speaks right away. First, she observes, analyzes, builds a logical model, and only then formulates a conclusion. Her silence is not indifference, but thinking in process. When she finally speaks, her words cut deep because they hit the nail on the head. It is impossible to win an argument with Virgo without facts, because she remembers everything: dates, sequences, details. Her memory works like a database where nothing is lost. Her mind does not succumb to panic. Virgo thinks even when others are lost. In stressful situations, she remains cool and clear-headed and quickly looks for a logical solution. Her mind is stability. Even when the world around her is falling apart, Virgo retains her ability to think. She does not succumb to hysteria because she trusts analytics rather than emotions. Virgo is intellect with practical application. She doesn't just analyze, she decides. Her logic always has a purpose. She doesn't waste time on abstractions if they are of no use. Everything she does makes sense. Her mind does not create illusions, but produces results. Her strength lies in systematic thinking. She can take any complex topic and break it down into parts until she finds the logic. Her intellect never tires because it feeds on precision. She derives intellectual satisfaction from understanding more than others, but she never shows it. Her mind is not for show, but for efficiency. When Virgo analyzes a person or situation, she is never wrong. She may not say it out loud, but she always knows who is right, who is manipulating, and who is simply confused. Her thinking is cold, but not heartless. She simply puts logic above emotions. And it is because of this that her mind is called the most rational of all. Virgo's intellect is not just knowledge, it is a tool for managing reality. She thinks like a designer thinks about matter. She builds, tests, and strengthens. And where others seek inspiration, she simply acts, accurately, precisely, and without error. Her mind is a form of pure clarity, where there is no room for doubt, because each of her conclusions is the result of logic brought to perfection. The fifth sign is Cancer. Cancer's mind cannot be measured by standard categories. His intellect is not just logic, but a deep understanding of human nature, intuitive insight, the ability to see cause and effect relationships where no analytics can recognize them. Cancer thinks not in numbers, but in meanings. He deciphers the world through emotional signals, moods, behavior, atmosphere. Their intellect is gentle but precise, working not through dry analysis, but through the ability to sense the slightest nuances of reality. Their mind is a combination of memory, intuition, and deep sensitivity. Cancer remembers everything: faces, phrases, intonations, even the pauses between words. But his memory is not passive, it is analytical. He collects fragments of information like a mosaic and creates a complete picture from them. His logic is based not on dry formulas, but on real human observations. That is why he understands what remains hidden to others. Cancer's intellect is always context-driven. He does not separate facts from emotions, but knows how to create a system out of them. When others look at a situation from only one side, Cancer sees it in its entirety. His mind works in several dimensions at once: logical, emotional, intuitive. And that is what makes him one of the most complex types of intellect. They don't just understand, they feel. And because of this, they understand more accurately. Their analysis is gentle, but not weak. Cancer doesn't pressure, impose, or show off their intellect. They influence imperceptibly. Their thoughts are born in silence, but always hit the mark. When he speaks, his words have a depth that is not immediately apparent. But then, after a while, everyone realizes that he was right. His mind does not seek victory, it seeks truth. Cancer has phenomenal powers of observation. He senses the slightest changes in people's behavior, in situations, in moods. This allows him to predict the development of events with striking accuracy. His thinking is like an intuitive radar that picks up vibrations invisible to others. But in reality, it's not magic. It's analytics in its finest form. Cancer simply sees the unobvious and knows how to connect it in a logical chain. His intellect is not theoretical, but deeply practical. Cancer thinks with a connection to life. He is not interested in abstract schemes. He looks for how knowledge works in reality. That is why he is a great strategist. He does not act impulsively, but cautiously, with a backup plan in mind. His logic is his defense, and his mind is his fortress. In this fortress, he analyzes everything down to the smallest detail before taking a step. Cancer thinks in ways that are close to emotional analysis, but his conclusions are always accurate. He can sense when a person is lying, when they are hiding their intentions, when they are hesitating. His mind doesn't just listen, it reads. And even if he is silent, it doesn't mean he isn't thinking. On the contrary, it is in silence that his mind works most intensely. His logic differs from the classical one. It is not straightforward, but flexible and multi-layered. Cancer considers any problem from different angles: emotional, ethical, practical. His decisions are never simplistic. He is able to take everything into account: moods, psychology, circumstances, possible consequences. Therefore, his intellect seems intuitive, but in fact, it is deeply thought out. Their mind is strong in its adaptability. Cancer can think logically when they need to act quickly and emotionally when they need to understand a person. They switch between thinking formats effortlessly. This makes them versatile in communication, business, and relationships. They can find common ground with anyone because they understand not only words, but also subtext. Cancer thinks with inner caution. They do not rush to conclusions because they know that haste distorts the truth. They need time to digest and systematize everything. But when he comes to a conclusion, he is infallible. His intellect is not restless, but focused. He does not need external evidence because he has it inside. His memory is another form of intellect. Cancer can store a huge amount of details in his mind, and they do not get confused because each has a context. He doesn't just remember events, he remembers what they meant. His brain works like an emotional analytical archive where everything is systematized. That's why he never forgets who told the truth and who hid part of it. Cancer's mind is a form of soft power. He doesn't impose himself, but gradually takes control of the situation. His decisions are always well considered because he sees all the possible options. His intellect is like water, calm on the surface, but deep and powerful inside. And when necessary, he is able to overcome any obstacle, change shape, and find a way where there is none. His thinking is not competitive, but harmonious. Cancer does not seek to prove that he is smarter. He simply knows how and why everything works. And when others are looking for formulas to understand the world, Cancer already feels its rhythm. It is an intellect that does not demonstrate power, but possesses it completely. His mind is calm, seeing through the noise, and precise, requiring no proof.